They say the truth comes out when money's on the table. Mine came out the moment my daughter read my will and laughed. It wasn't a quiet chuckle. It was loud, disrespectful, a cruel kind of laugh that echoed through my living room like a slap to the face. She looked me in the eye and said, "Asterisk, you really think this is going to scare me? You won't leave me with nothing. You're too sentimental." Asterisk. But what she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the man they thought was sentimental was also strategic. And I never forgot the night she told me I was a burden. The same daughter I once held in the back seat of a freezing car when we were homeless. The one I fed first when we only had one meal between us. She used to hold my hand when she was scared of the dark. Now she rolled her eyes when I tried to share anything from the past. They all thought I was still broke, still scraping by, still stuck in that poor man mindset. But that's exactly how I wanted it. They didn't know I'd rebuilt my life in silence. Quietly invested in tech startups when no one believed in them. Bought land no one else wanted, only to watch it skyrocket in value. My house was modest, my clothes were plain, but I had more money than they could imagine. And I had a plan. See, I'd spent years watching her shift. She wasn't always this way, but somewhere along the line, she became obsessed with appearances, luxury handbags, designer shoes, exotic vacations for Instagram likes. Every conversation we had was transactional. She only called when she needed something. When I mentioned values or family, she changed the subject. When I asked for a few hours of her time, she said she was too busy. The final straw? She told her husband I was delusional, that I pretended to be poor for sympathy, that I'd never leave anything worthwhile behind. So I rewrote the will. I left behind something all right, but not for her. The day I handed her the sealed envelope marked "Read upon my passing," she barely said thank you. Just slipped it in her designer tote like it was junk mail. I smiled, because I knew what was inside. The story spread fast after I passed. Family flew in expecting something grand. Rumors swirled. Inheritance, properties, bank accounts. My daughter arrived in a white suit, smiling like she was already rich. Until the lawyer opened the envelope. Her section was just one page. One sentence. Asterisk, you laughed at my will. So, I laughed when you got nothing. Asterisk. Gasps filled the room. Someone dropped their glass. My daughter's face turned pale. Her hands shook as she flipped the page, thinking there had to be more. There wasn't. I had set up a different document, one none of them had access to. A private trust that rewarded those who stayed close not because of what I had, but because of who I was. The nurse who took care of me with kindness got a house. The janitor from my old office, who brought me food when no one else remembered my birthday, got a check bigger than his lifetime earnings. A local scholarship fund got 6 figures in my wife's name. And the biggest portion went to a young single mother I once met outside a bus station, someone who reminded me of who I used to be. I gave her a place to live, a small business to run, and a future for her child. She didn't even know it was me behind the curtain. Until the will was read. My daughter? She stormed out, furious. Called the lawyer. Threatened legal action. But everything was airtight. Ironclad. She forgot the golden rule. The people you step on climbing up remember everything when you start falling. In the end, she learned the hard way. You don't inherit love. You earn it. And when you mock the last gift someone offers you, don't be surprised when it turns out to be empty. My daughter laughed at my will, so I laughed when she got nothing isn't just a revenge story. It's a wake-up call. To everyone chasing wealth instead of worth, remember. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one holding the pen that rewrites everything. And sometimes the last laugh is written in ink.